Yo, happy Friday, y'all. We are listening to Javar right now. We're going to continue listening to this. Some good stuff. All right, let's see who's here. Quirky, first. Welcome back, homie. Hope you've been doing well. Saffron, I see you. Thank you so much for the sub. 34-month streak, homie. Whew. Javar, fantastic music this morning. Thank you so much for sending it through. Dual Shock, welcome in, homie. Good to see you. Cardio Party is here. Everybody follow Liv. Cardio Party is awesome. Worthy of a follow. Julius, welcome in. Paul's tuning in from cloudy, smoky Maryland. Stay safe, Paul. Who else is here? EMESP69, how's it going? MSP, happy Friday to you. Looney. See Looney, I see you. Happy Friday to you. Welcome in, first time chatter. Always good to have you. Hello, Scruffy Rico. How are you? Roku Sai is here. Everybody's showing up here. Julius, welcome in. Master Spy Iggy. Everybody give Master Spy Iggy a follow. Not so you can tune into him and watch him live stream, because he doesn't do much of that, but so that you can have him on speed dial when you need your music to sound the best that it can sound. Dude's a freaking genius. Seriously though, if you are looking for someone to master your music, send him a message. See if he has room in his queue. Bart, this is fun. Paul has just posted a new video for us. Andre, welcome in. I also tossed up a few new tracks I made yesterday. If we have a little time, we can always listen to those. We're gonna dip on over to the Discord here in just a moment, see what you all have posted. Julius, fellow Logic Pro user. Very nice, very nice. Javar sent through a track for a stream. Was it last Friday's feedback stream? I think it was. Anyway, hoping this becomes a regular thing. It's always nice to hear some Javar. We're gonna have a special guest on the show today. Yep, last Friday. Excellent. My brain is still working. We're going to have Imaginate back on the stream. He's continuing to release his stuff. We've been tracking him as he's been working on this stuff for the past couple of years. Rave? Am I saying this right? Welcome in. So we will catch up with Danny. We'll hear about this newest release. And if you guys are getting ready to release new stuff, remember, you can drop links in the Discord. Gotta share your music channel in there. This was made in Cubase, by the way, Javar is saying. And full disclosure, my tracks were actually made in Audio Design Desk. The stems for what was used was made, most of it in Logic, but there was also a little bit of Cubase in there. Ah, MSP. Are you struggling with some Wi-Fi over there? Dang it. Javar, I like Reason. I like Reason. I've spent time in Reason a few different stints. Julius anxiously awaiting the return of MSP streams. Iggy has just dropped a link in the chat for Audio Design Desk. I'll do you one more. There is another. I think it's just this. I think it's just. Let's see if that works. Let's just click on this and see if it works. Yep, it works. So you can sign up here. For early access to Maker AI when we unveil that. So that link in the chat goes to the Audio Design Desk website. So if you're on a Mac and you're wanting to move into the future of sound design, that's the DAW for you. But Maker is going to be it's just going to blow the lid off the industry, simply, but it's going to change a lot of things. You guys can sign up for early access there, get invites to new beta tools, all sorts of stuff. Really awesome and tastefully made AI tools to assist you in your processes. Also, future collaboration tools, file management, all sorts of stuff will be opening up the marketplace to other folks soon. How much is it? It's not something that you're paying for. I mean, you can go on there and get set up for nothing. There will, of course, be things that you can buy into. There will be, storage plans. There'll be credit plans. You can spend your tokens on sound packs and music and whatnot. Everything's royalty free there. License all your stuff. We'll get into the marketplace phase for third-party folks in a while. But it'll also be a really good learning destination. You can learn whatever you want there. Find collaborators, freelancers, all sorts of stuff. Hey, MSP says, I use Unfiltered Audio's Lion and Biome. Predominantly looking forward to more AI tech and sound design, right? Triad. Oh, yeah. Big love for Triad. This is not a DAW in the traditional sense. This is not a DAW that you're going to fire up and load up your favorite synth and start wielding. It's all about audio. You're going to work predominantly with audio and trigger it in a multitude of ways that you just haven't done before. So it's a place to bring the stuff that you've already made, or go looking for the stuff that you don't have. Which is a totally different way of making things. But yeah, this music was made in ADD just yesterday, actually. So, all right, so we're gonna dip over to Discord and see what you all have been posting. Don't forget, if you sub, you get a bunch of free sounds. I need to post new sounds in a really big way. Hello to all of you sliding into home base here in the public lounge this morning. Good to see you all. Quirky. Quirky is back in the mix saying, yo, I've been missing Feedback Fridays lately. I've been hanging around with people, but I've released many songs through the weeks, and I'm still pushing the grind further. This is good to hear. Look at this drift right here, this corner. Lux Dynamics will welcome in. Nice name. Happy Friday. Javar, are you planning on releasing these cues that you're dropping on Fridays here? These tracks right here that we're currently listening to. These are going to be part of Tense Moments Volume 2, which are all full mix cinematic tracks. Maybe we'll listen to this one, get ourselves hyped up, and jump into some quirky. This one gets rather intense here towards the end. Short Jab, welcome in. What DAW am I using? This that you're looking at is Logic. The one that I was just speaking of, that I made this music in, is Audio Design Desk. All right. So yeah, hit that maker link if you want early access. We're gonna get a super early access public beta of ADD 2.0 month-ish, something like that. We'll have the last round of public beta for 1.x the week, so I'll be saying goodbye to version 1 soon. I am Thor. Yes, Tom. Yes. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get back to this Discord here. We're gonna fire up some quirky. Find my notepad really quick. Hey, Javar, mine has some deep chanting stuff in it too. Except for I don't think mine started as a deep chant, actually. This is something that got all stretched and twisted up. I do love me some low chanting though. Deep Chant Club. Lux Dynamics, go ahead and drop your link in the public feedback channel in the Discord. All right, we're going to listen to some quirky. This one's called Mutual Bonds. Quirky, local legend here in the community, decided he wanted to start making music. Started making music. Dude's killing it right now. Tom, you sleep well, homie. We'll see you on the flip.
Okay.
All right, quirky, quirky, quirky. This is good. Um, Julius, this is funk. Quirky's been kind of developing his own flavor of funk since getting started. I'm just reading this last comment from Quirky saying, I really honestly feel the improvement, but on this new stuff, not many views are coming. Um, if you listen to the stuff that you were dropping, like for the album, but also specifically right after the album, those first couple of tracks that you circled back with, and you compare it to this one, I think you're going to feel like this one has um, like this feeling of constraint or being kind of held back a little bit. No, I mean beyond the normal funk filtering and all of that. It just feels like the compression is being kicked in at the wrong time. So if you bring the threshold up a little bit, so it's going to be it's going to be hitting the peaks a little bit less, and also take the ratio down a little bit on your compression and see um, if that feels better. It just feels like a fair bit of the potential, like the energy in the mix, is kind of being held back right now. Respect the gazelle. Yo, what up, Paulie? How you doing, homie? And Dremy is here too. It's a party now, you guys. Um, Julia says, when I'm driving in LA on shrooms with two baddies, I dump this. Liv is back. Party can proceed. Polly, how have you been? 28 months, dude. 15 in a row. I appreciate you. Okay, so here's what I got for you, Quirky. These three things. This kick feels just a little bit disconnected from the rest of the mix in this one. It hits just a little bit flat compared to your norm. So there's one. A little more energy on the exit of the transition. There's two. And three, just the general mention of the compression and the threshold being low, the compression ratio being high. All three of these are all interconnected here. It's we're feeling less energy because you're not allowing as much of the full range of sound through. Not through the filter, just in the actual peaks. Excuse me. Doing good, dropping music and all. Good to hear it, Polly. Good to hear it. Space Boy's tasty. Space Boy's good stuff. Yeah, this is good. Quirky, keep working in the same direction, but do go back and A/B compare the tracks on the album, the first couple that you bounced right after, um, and then this one, and see if you can feel and hear what I'm talking about. X3 and friends, welcome in, homie. Happy Friday. Dual shock. I have no doubt you did, Quirky. I have no doubt. I fully trust that. I think something very subtle has been changed. Um, uh, do that. Change the threshold and bring down the ratio just a little bit, and then save that preset, so you can compare it, and not lose track of it. Because if it works, it's just going to feel better. It's going to feel just a little bit more full and open. Little shock. Nice, Polly. Nice. Well, Shock says, so this one, I'm only the vocals. I did not self-produce this one. My recording is on a different mic than usual, so mixed feedback will be appreciated. X3, it's always good to have you in the mix, man. Let's see what Dual Shock has kicked out this week.
Damn, it's Dual. Bitch. Hey, bought a new interface, by the way. It's not here yet, so I'm still using my USB. But hey, shooting these niggas, I pop them like bubbles. If you pull up on Dude, then you were in trouble. I'm crushing their bodies up like they a rough. Pull up my Team Rocket, then we get to rumble. I'm fucking your daddy, we met up on Rumble. I'm getting a bag, just know I won't fumble. I put him one time and then that nigga stumble. I be flexing my muscles in front of the sun. I'm busting the beat up in this bitch, you would think that was a palm hoe. Fucking that daddy, she paying no rent. Then I take the phone and then I go bang. Get it the Glock and then I go send it. I put my tower and I'ma defend it. I got the bag in this bitch, I won't lend it. I am a sinner, just know I'm repentant. Fuck this show ending. I am a rising, like I'm Titan without the mic. I feel like a razor, playing it sharp. Up in the water, bitch, I am a shark. Flexing my muscles, I feel like I'm Clark. Pull up with dick and go up in the dark. I be some weed and then I go in dark. I be some weed and it smell like I'm stopping the rest and then move as I'm challenging. But then I am up on my metal and when I get a lick, oh, we not having it. Beat 'em up, take his rack, then I am selling it. I got a beam with a laser. This shit gon' shock you worse than them tasers. Boom, 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 bitch. See you later, alligator, you dead. I'm not dough, I'ma count on my bread. See ya, hoe, I'm counting my head. Move the bong, rip, plug it up, dead. Fuck up too hard, think I broke they damn bed. Double I look like it's shooting the lead. Double I pop and I shoot him in head. Bend her body over, make that bitch bend. Yeah, I put my penis right up in between the legs. If I'm being honest with you niggas, I don't even write lyrics. I just be spitting on the motherfucking beat and it comes on the top of my motherfucking head. Like insane. I'm writing this shit, I'm doing it over the top of my mental. Swerving this bitch and it's like a damn rental. Bitch, I be fucking that bitch, that gentle. Hey, shooting these niggas, I pop them like bubbles. If you pull up on Dude, then you were in trouble. I'm crushing they bodies up like they a rough. Pull up my Team Rocket, then we get to rumble. I'm fucking your daddy, we met up on Rumble. I'm getting a bag, just know I won't fumble. I put him one time and then that nigga stumble. I be flexing my muscles in front of the sun, ho. Fuck that, I'm on a mine. I am too deep, I'm in a mine. DDMT, it's in my mind. I'm on a boat, I'm like a mine. Niggas got beat like they are mine. But they not bad, so it's fine. Never say first, like it was mine. Catching my flow, like it was fine.
These niggas, I pop them like bubbles. If you pull up on Dude, then you were in trouble. I'm crushing they bodies up like they a rough. Pull up my Team Rocket, then we get to rumble. I'm fucking your daddy, we met up on Rumble. I'm getting a bag, just know I won't fumble. I put him one time and then that nigga stumble. I be flexing my muscles in front of the sun, ho.
All right, so here's just a couple of things. Vocals are tight as always. Really, really good energy in your delivery. Like I felt you were bouncing around. This is it's the right kind of energy. I went a little bit more body in the mids of the vocals though. Low mids perhaps, just to kind of thicken them up. The chants on the sides are great. They do kind of dominate the main vocal at times. So I would probably suggest, oh, and I didn't even write this in here, but I'd probably suggest warming the main vocal just a bit. You can use some saturation to do it. It's going to help kind of define and kind of embolden the mids in the vocals themselves. You can probably keep the chants where they are level wise. You might want to bring them down just maybe like 2 dB if you don't feel like the saturation was enough to really separate the main vocal from the backing. And then in regards to the mix, I'd bring the whole instrumental down a few. And then I would compress the track with the vocals and the instrumental together to kind of bring that mix back up. And what that's going to do is going to help leave the vocals sitting up on top of it a little bit more and kind of gel that stuff together. It's a pretty crispy mix, which I'm not opposed to. But definitely watch resonance in metallic elements or just elements. And then the mid-range synth that's kind of playing throughout. You might want to put a little filter modulation on that just for interest's sake, where in some moments it's peaking out at its maximum. It's peaking out at its maximum potential as it is now. But then at other points, it's kind of dipping down a little bit. And now that will kind of help that feeling of the kind of mid highs being pushed a little bit in the vocals because you won't have that same frequency build up there. Just a couple of ways in which you can try to find a little bit more separation between those elements. Paul Lee is loving this mix. Andremi is finding the hat to be just a touch spicy. Hi, Marcus is here. How's it going? People all over the place bumping into each other. Danny's here. I am Imagine It. Follow I am Imagine It in the chat. Danny, feel free to spam links. Got new stuff dropping. We can have him join us in this conversation today on screen today if he's up for it. DualShock, man, it was really good to hear your stuff. It was really good to hear something new from you. Tasty stuff. Watch the Quispy. We got Wid. We got Wid up next. Danny's got a new single coming out today called Apollo. You are welcome, DualShock. It's a story of self-recreation and prophecy. Nothing big. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. What are you feeling, Danny? Feel like coming on the show? Excellent. I will drop you a link really quick, and then Wid can get a little feedback from both of us. Let me just get this set here really quick. I got myself a blank screen. Woohoo! Let's see if we... Come on now. I gotta be able to size this. There we go. Something like this. And get Danny in here. All right, kitty cats. So we're going to have Danny join us here in just a moment. So you guys get double the feedback, double the fun. And you don't have to stare at just my ugly mug the whole time. Danny's probably much cuter. All right, so Wid is up next. And if you have listened to Danny's track or just have questions in general about his approach to music making or even getting his album out or anything like that, jot those questions down in the chat and get them answered. Maybe if they're not too personal, he'll answer them for you. And in the meantime, I'm going to hit play on this this track from Wid, which is called Yozia Scarlata. Oh, did I get it right? Right? This is Collapse and Wid. Roku Sai, big love, homie. Roku saying Danny just puts a snare drum in the sampler and makes an album out of it. mm, 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 mm. Chakra's here. Bought by Tom. Welcome in. Yo. Oh, and Danny's here too. Danny, you're not going to hear me in Zoom, just through the chat if you're good with that. Not sure what our
Yeah, no
latency
worries. Can you hear
situation
me?
is today. Yeah, I can hear you. Um,
So it looks like there's about maybe 3 or 4 seconds.
damn it, it's like long today. Last time it was nothing. It seems like gonna be a brutal 4-second delay.
We did Zoom last time, I think, audio over Zoom.
Oh, did we not do video?
I think we did video, but we chatted over Zoom, and then that was fed into Twitch.
Oh, right. So here you can hear me. But does everybody
Yeah.
else get like a big echo if I do that? If not, then that's great.
Does it seem there's any echo on the Twitch right now?
Well, if we are echoing, let me know. All right, so Wid, right out the gate, this is amazing. Just straight madness and so good. I would say the only thing that I would like to see change is the low end management, wrangling the amount of overlapping low end frequencies, but also just the lowest frequencies only dipping down to around 45 hertz or so, I think would keep the sound design and all of your modulation maneuvers as the priority. It would redistribute enough energy and clarity to the middle of your mix to really make that stuff pop. Ambience is great, but I don't feel like you need the noise at that persistent level. You could probably make that layer a bit more dynamic and responsive to the rest of the mix, bringing it up and making it more like of a, this washed experience or like this elevated experience when you feel that dynamic change. The bird song, however, feels great at that level throughout the song to me. And this freaking change up is amazing. I could feel it coming, and when it did, it was so satisfying. More so than I was hoping for, and it was really great. And it's always good to hear you. And Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I like the syncopation of the rhythms. Whenever I listen to tunes, I'm always really focused on musicality and like the songwriting and everything first and foremost, unless like the mix needs work. But like the mix is really solid on this, so I don't really have anything to say on that. I like the songwriting a lot. The sound design was wicked. Everything had like a nice layer or a nice cohesive layer made up by everything. It didn't feel like there was something that didn't fit or like there wasn't anything that didn't seem intentional. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I think maybe for songwriting, a couple of the sections feel a little sparse and maybe some ear candy, little transitional sounds, maybe some like tonal transitional sounds might really lift up those moments and also kind of lift up the arrangement of the entire song. And especially if this is going to be put into a DJ format, or like a live format, those kinds of things kind of help the flow of the set first of all, and then like just the song in general too. They're just like little cues basically, but it's all creative stuff, and I think this is a cool tune. So yeah, man.
Word. Yeah, and Roku hits the dynamic thing as well. Danny also tossed in a nice dip at 1K to 3K. Is that in reference to the ambience?
I think he's talking about the screen behind me.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, Wid. Always great to hear you. Danny, We haven't seen you for like a few weeks. What have you been up to?
Yeah, well, I just put out a new single.
Mhm.
The last time we chatted was talking about the first single off the forthcoming album. That single was Vitality. If you haven't heard it, I will drop a link in there. But today we are focusing on the newest single from that album, Chapter 3, titled Apollo. And yeah, man, it's been a really big process of getting this tune put together for release, and I'm really excited to see it out. Todd Preston is the vocalist on it, and it's funny. I was looking for vocalists for a couple of these tunes for a while, and I really just couldn't find anything that fit. And so I got in touch with Todd through Steve Rowland, who is the one of the main head honchos of Black Octopus, and he said, "Oh, well, I have a guy that you should check out." And we got in contact, and Todd dropped a few lines on the tune, and the rest was history.
That's it. That's just sometimes it's just that easy.
Yeah, exactly. How can you fix the mic from this? Oh yeah, I'm on the Apple built-in mic. Unfortunately, my mic took a bit of a poop.
Oh,
So,
that sucks.
yeah, I got to get a new setup. So if it's really that bad though, I can switch over to my Apple earbuds. Maybe that will be better.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. So anyway, yeah, that's the new tune. Putting it out. Been finishing up some really cool projects for some folks.
Mhm.
And yeah, just grinding away, man.
Nice. Keeping busy.
Yeah.
Well, it's so good to see Apollo getting out there. You want to listen to it on stream?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's do that really quick.
Cool.
And then it looks like we've got some new video action coming in from Paul today.
Nice. Yeah, today's a busy day, it seems.
We missed a couple of live streams. When I was down with my ears and whatnot, so I think people have got some pent up stuff here.
The floodgates are now opened, that your ears are now open.
That's right. Oh man, it's so nice to be able to hear again. All right, so we got new stuff from Danny. Let me just size this down so we can have both of you here. Apollo. Let's listen to this.
Parched and overheated.
Cheers, homie. That's some really, really good stuff right there.
Thank you, man.
So much power. Such good storytelling. Love the
Thank you.
energy. Love the vocals.
Yeah.
Such a good match. The whole thing, man. It's just so good. I'm so glad it's out there in the world.
Yeah, we thank you, man. We are too. Todd has, as you guys have seen in the chat here, Todd has an incredible range. And even with the range too, one of the most important things working with a vocalist is them being able to understand the story and the aesthetic,
Mm-hmm.
of the entire album, I suppose, but in just a song format as well. Being able to understand what the song is about and how you not only shape the lyrics but also your performance and your delivery around
Mm-hmm.
that is really important. And Todd is one of those guys who's been doing vocal work for a long time, amongst other awesome things too. But he's one of those guys who's done vocal stuff for a while, where he understands that, and that's a high level of delivery and performance that is really hard uh, to find sometimes,
Yeah.
especially for a very specific kind of project such as this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Great work finding him and
I didn't lift
just
a finger.
just realizing the vision, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, exactly, and he's been such a pleasure to work with too. Yeah, because one of the tricky things with this album was a lot of the songs needed vocals,
Mm.
and uh, that's a whole journey in itself, is finding the right vocalist. There's a couple other, well, there's actually one other vocalist off this album. I'm not gonna say any names. I don't want to spoil anything, but she is a mega talent herself too. And so I just got to say, working with Todd here and then the vocalist to be announced, both have completely understood everything and have such experience to deliver for something like this. And I'm really
Mm.
grateful for that. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, I'm sure folks have probably got a couple of questions for you and stuff. Let's dip into another track from someone, and then we'll field a question or two.
Mhm.
Uncle Chrome, screw just listening to music, man. We're gonna watch a video here, I think. Uncle Chrome says, and this is Paul Artola in the chat. Here's my tribute to the 40th anniversary of the Yamaha DX7. 4 copies of the Arturia version with Arturia VX hard at work, or FX hard at work. This will be in Blippity Bloop Theater 14, premiering next Saturday.
Nice.
And let's just do this here. Oh, this was fun. I like the overlay of the like educational it like looked like some military funding was involved in that. It's some good stuff. Good stuff. And I like the oh man, what's his name? Did all the documentary films with the panning and the why can't I think of his name right this moment? Anyway, really good panning clips there, homie. Hypnotic. Ken
Yeah.
Burns, thank you. Ken Burns effect. Appreciate you, Paul.
Hey Chris, have you seen the Adam Curtis documentaries?
I don't know.
I feel like they'd be right up your alley, man.
I don't think so.
Hypernormalization is one that came out, I think, in 2017, and then there's another one that came out called "Can't Get You Out of My Head."
Oh,
And yeah, hypernormalization is about 3 hours, and then "Can't Get You Out of My Head" is like an 8 episode, hour-long each series, and it talks about like like so much stuff. Oh my god, hypernormalization kind of talks about the transition of um, like power in the government and people, and how that power switched from the government to like the banks and to the power of the internet, and that you get better control by creating microcosms, and it's so crazy.
oh wow.
And it's all based in like actual stuff. Like they talk about a lot of or Adam Curtis is the guy who directed it and filmed it and everything, or not filmed it, directed it. And yeah, it's like so many different little pieces of history that make up this one big um like thesis statement, I suppose.
The puzzle.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's very I think whatever word it was you just described, this by Paul, and the panning and all that. It's kind of ethereal. It's very ethereal and atmospheric. You should check it out. So his documentaries, yeah. Anyway,
That's good stuff.
yeah, that was really cool, Paul. I like the subtle, like kind of modal mood changes at just like moments you did not expect, but like they were perfectly placed.
That's good. I like how you got the graphic of the carrier modulation and the beat of the song to match up, like windshield wiper sync there.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. We've got something new from High Marcus today.
All right.
Let's check this out. Random setting of the sequencer never fails, says Paul. Yeah, you gotta love a happy accident or two. All right, this one's High Marcus. Let's check it.
You said you feel it, my sweat on your palms. I hope your grip is strong. Please don't let me slip into fall. I know I got it wrong. Tell me why I'm staying up all night, dreaming, thinking you know
Siri, welcome in.
something's going on. You know something's going on. Tell me why I'm staying up all night, dreaming, thinking you know something's going on. You know something's going on. Why can't you tell me, my baby, it's gone? You know our love is born. You can't stay here. You gotta move on alone. You know you love me wrong.
right. Roku wants to know if that's Rickenbacker he hears. Marcus, bring more. Can we just start by saying bring more, please? We do this every Friday. We'll be waiting for you. Touch less bass frequency in the kick, please. Also bring that down a couple of dB because it's kind of distracting from just the awesomeness of the mix in that moment. As Rokusai points out very early on, this thing should be polished like the precious diamond that it is, and then it should be pressed on vinyl and listened to in warm golden light by the fire. Perhaps like a bearskin rug on the ground, or at least a fine scotch or red wine or something. Damn it. This was tasty. Like it puts you in a freaking mood. You know what I mean? Should I dim the lights a little bit? Kind of like this is inappropriate having this thing over here.
You got to put on your sheet of print.
Man, well, I don't have pants
Silk Road.
on. So,
Oh, well, you're one step ahead.
yeah. I'm actually sitting on top of a baby leopard right now. So,
The most
right.
natural,
yeah, it just,
most natural setting.
it keeps my butt warm.
Yeah.
Some people might find that controversial. I don't know. Okay, so less sub frequencies in the kick. It's just a little bit too thick, and it's got a little bit too much impact. Watch the low frequencies in your reverb channel. There's not like an over exuberant amount of them, but there are some there. Love that little squealy sting. Offset bass in that. Just like there's so many good things happening. In the second half of the song, I hear a slight difference in the mix and the way that things are gluing. But in general, lots of really good less is more moments where you're allowing one thing to shine at a time and just kind of really allowing us to kind of fall into the space with those different performances, right, and the ways that you're presenting it all. I think when the mix starts to get a bit more full later, there's maybe perhaps a need for a little bit more dynamic of a mix, right? A little bit more volume change for different elements, making room for each other in different moments, which would also help with the emotional impact of some of this stuff. 340 to 415, that's kind of a good spot to listen to. It's a good 20 seconds well spent. I would remove some of the lowest frequencies from the tremolo guitar, the panning guitar that you've got going back and forth, simply because dragging the lowest frequencies through the entirety of the mix like that can cause a little bit of stuff, and it does. At 455, maybe bring the guitar down a bit and make it a little less dominant, so then the vocals can be up on top for the entirety. So lots of little kind of slightly nuanced, slightly nitpicky bits here and there. Really, really good feels in this one. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah. I like how dynamic it is. It doesn't sound like maximal, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Vocals are on point. I felt, yeah, like that high range is so hit or miss sometimes, and it really hit this time. I like that a lot. Songwriting was great. I mean, it just felt right in the pocket. Like this whole groove is just really tight, but loose at the same time, which was nice. Yeah, I think maybe the drums are a little on top of everything at times, especially like kind of in the intro. I noticed that the snare might have been a little too aggressive and too bouncy. I think what would maybe make this track a little bit more dynamic is maybe use a rim shot for like quieter moments, or
Like cross stick style.
yeah,
Yeah.
like subtler kind of snare sound. You can even just tighten up the envelope on this snare and make it a little less forward and punchy. Whereas like it can come in later towards the end of the song and be a little bit punchier, just to follow the natural progression of the rise of intensity. But yeah, no, I like that a lot. Everything felt nice in the pocket, and I didn't. For me, nothing really stood out as like, oh, that should be addressed.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's good. And I like Roku's comment too about these are manual fader things. Like feel this out. Don't draw in these very linear double click and set it and forget it automations. I would really just record in Able and sit back and listen, maybe even close your eyes, right? And the only thing you're touching is volume. And it's going up and down as you're feeling it should. And when you open your eyes back up, 3.5 minutes later or whatever, 5.5 minutes later, it'll probably look like a ride.
I think
It'll feel
you
good.
you mentioned that this should go through a desk. Was that you that said that? Or no, that was
It was Roku, but I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, 100%,
Some
100%.
tube. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think a couple passes really, one on the way in, one on the way out, right? I just
It
think that there's
sounded
some warmth that
yeah,
is just gonna pop out of this thing.
yeah, it sounded a little digital, and I think
Hmm.
the style really, to a degree, depends on that tube warmth, that kind
Yeah,
of like not lo-fi, but yeah, fuller, harmonic interest, I suppose.
yeah. Not to get too far down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
just because we've got other folks in line, but the snare thing that you bring up, right? I think it's hand in hand with the kick, right? When the kick comes down, you're gonna feel less like you need the kick to be more in alignment with that big, or the snare needs to be more in alignment with that big kick, right? So when the kick comes down, that snare can come down. But you can also just kind of A/B test some really, really subtle nuance changes. Like, what if you put a 6 dB per octave high end cut on that snare, and it just barely shaved off just a little bit of those top frequencies there, right? Without the rest of the mix, listen to the first version, listen to that updated version with the extra EQ curve on it. Now play it back with the EQ curve on it and play it back without the EQ curve on it. Um, and just give yourself the chance to try to gain perspective on some more of the nuanced kind of stuff. Because I'll tell you what, you can accomplish a lot out of the box, as you already have, but not everybody has access to a studio and nice tube equipment and all of that. So some of this stuff might seem out of reach, but it really isn't if you're spending the time on these they seem almost inconsequential when you're listening to them on their own. But if you spend that amount of time on each one of those little individual elements, then you're setting yourself up to have this thing just really pop, and melt hearts and minds at the same time once it's mastered. I believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like kind of a felt thing. Um,
Yeah.
when you drive things a little bit, especially like in this style, it's like the warmth kind of goes hand in hand with like the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word.
Anyway,
All right, this is good stuff. I want more of it. I hope you come back for more. Bring us more.
yeah, that was great.
A little greedy. Julius, this is you. This one's called Ocean. And Julius, are you the one that gave us a heads up? This is a hit or miss track. Either people love it or they hate it, huh? Let's do this.
My mind is in the sky. She gon' love me anyway, like the ocean in the moonlight. My face is in her eyes. When she see me in this state, the love I don't abide by. Where do you wanna be? Yeah, you hear the way I talk. Don't you wanna come with me? Devious stares you try to cast. Yeah, I saw you from afar, then I see you walking in my path. write me on the sand. I wanna run a bag, yeah, she call me on the man. Looking at her cell phone, my name is the man. I don't wanna go, bitch, I'm kinda like a stand. I don't wanna go out, blunt stay in my hand. But everywhere I go, yeah, I'm smoking on the pack. I don't wanna go out, blunt stay in my hand. My mind is in the sky. She gon' love me anyway, like the ocean in the moonlight. My face is in her eyes. When she see me in this state, the love I don't abide by. Where do you wanna be? Yeah, you hear the way I talk. Don't you wanna come with me? Devious stairs, you try to cast. Yeah, I saw you from afar, then I see you walking in my path. I want you to want me to. I want you to want me to. I want you to want me
Yeah, this is fun. It's got a nice it's got like a nice like kind of soulful indie, like very genuine kind of vibe to it. It's got like a summer kind of feel to it to me. And I like the effects that you've picked. I like your palette. I think that the large majority of work that could be done to improve this one is really just going to be about clarity, presence, and then balance, right? We start with clarity by removing low frequencies that don't need to be there, or maybe dipping out some mid-range frequencies that are in competition with each other from one instrument to the next in the middle of the track. And then you're going to get your definition and your presence when you begin to saturate some stuff. I think the bass could use a little bit more clarity from overdrive, a little less low frequencies. Drums, you can put a little saturation on them. Again, it can be just overdrive. It doesn't have to be anything gritty. Target a high frequency so you can generate some harmonics from the low end all the way up. It'll help everything kind of ring out a little bit better and give it a little bit more definition in the mix and kind of stand upright in the mix. And then also watch low frequencies in reverb or any time-based effects like chorus or delay or reverb, and use parallel reverb for most situations. So you can take the low end out of just the reverb, and you can bring in the reverb at just the right amount, volume-wise. I think that there are some other things in there, but when you start to get the clarity and the definition and the punch from the different instruments by making these few moves, your mind is probably going to start opening up with some more ideas about what you could do. Like, oh, what if the volume actually comes up just a little bit more aggressively here, right? You're going to hear a little bit more detail in your mix, and that's going to want you to, or it's going to make you want to shy away from some things and really lean into and accent other things. So trust your gut when you get there. All you got to do is start cleaning it up. Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that stood out for me was the amount of reverb on the drums. And just kind of in general, it felt really cloudy, and that could be fixed with a couple of things, like just bringing down the reverb, EQing your reverb, of course, to take out some of that like low boxiness in the 250 to 500. But I think since the style is like a nice cross of indie and like 80s kind of synth music, I would use a gate on your reverb. Get do a gated snare deal, right? Well, even on the kick too, maybe, but especially on the snare. But yeah, I'd watch the amount of low frequencies in the reverb, like Chris has said here. Bring down the reverb maybe a little bit. You can wash it out without it being overblown on everything else. And the best way to do that is to do EQ. You can do sidechain compression. You can do gating. There's a couple different things you can do. And in doing so, you're going to create more space for everything else. And you will, in doing so, by taking away the artificial space that you've created, you'll be creating more depth and space by giving intentional space to specific instruments, and just that depth will give it more of a 3D feel.
That's it. That's it right there. It's all about signal and frequency management at this point, because you've got a really good track. and it translates really well. I feel like
Yeah.
you've gotten your idea out. Now it's really just shaping. It's really just a little bit of shaping.
It'd be kind of cool too. A couple points, like at the end of every 4 bars or 8 bars. I don't know, even amounts, I suppose. Really, wherever you'd like, that might be artistically fun
Hmm.
to include little bass fills. That might help the bass stand out a little bit more too, because when someone's like the bass is
Yeah.
traditionally supporting the groove and the harmony, right? But if you want it to kind of stick out a little bit more and have everything, I guess, have a featuring in a moment of the song, then one way to do that is like add a little fill, go a couple notes up high
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah. Got to get a little run.
yeah, like do a 7-to-1 kind of run, and
Yeah.
if you know what that means.
Yeah, I just don't like this is exactly why I don't like listening to like mainstream popular radio, and I would so much rather listen to live performances because I'm constantly getting these little variations. And you know what? When you're playing the same thing 100 times, you're gonna put little licks in there here and there, and it's to keep you from going mad, but it also keeps people highly entertained. And I do think that there's um, room in most productions for more fills like that. It's tiny little play, more play.
Yeah, a little bit more play.
Speaking of, a mix like this, we were speaking about Apollo and about how well the vocals fit in with the track and the ethos and aesthetic of the project and all that. But tell us about something that you had to overcome. Like, what was one of the challenges mix wise with having the vocals in there, perhaps alongside the guitar?
Yeah, yeah. So this is something that you and I talked about quite a bit actually, as we were getting the album mastered and everything. There's 3 instruments in particular when you're trying to blend them that have a hard time playing nice together, and they are strings, electric guitar, and vocals.
All string
And
instruments, right?
yeah, well, for sure. I mean, I guess like violins and an orchestral scenario, like those strings and all that, cellos, violins, and violas, and like a lot of my music features those elements, all 3 of them, and sometimes at the same time. And so one of the hard things was getting everything to fit nicely, but also be able to stand out and not feel like they're crowding for space, and that it's all intentionally placed and put together. Apollo, I think, doesn't have as many strings as some of the other songs. So fortunately, I was just dealing with guitars and vocals. But the big thing that I found was dipping at 1K for sure on the electric guitars, and then letting the vocals sit in that range.
Mm.
Obviously, because the vocals being the forward part of the forward instrument of the song, you don't want them buried. It just
Right.
doesn't make any sense. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, it is. It does
yeah.
because I'm a nerd, and the more I know, the better. Like just
So one,
just
if I,
just just getting
yeah.
just getting to hear someone talk about a complication and how they overcame that complication is always satisfying.
So one thing on this song and the album, I mean, my style is maximal, right? And so like I like to have a lot of instrumentation, and with reason, of course, but I like to have a lot of layers. And one of the tricky bits about that is you're dealing with 200 plus tracks sometimes, and getting them to fit into this puzzle is really difficult sometimes, especially when you're dealing with a lot of main elements, such as like a string, electric guitar, vocals, even synths sometimes too. So that was definitely the biggest hurdle, was finding a way to get everything to fit in nicely. And what's funny is it didn't even really come down necessarily to just mixing. It actually came down to like the source material too, like
Yeah.
the frequency content of the sound that I was using. Like I have a couple guitars here. I have like a Squire Telly and an Ibanez Stratocaster, and even though they have particular sounds, I still had to dial in the tones on them, right?
Right.
And this is like the case in all studio scenarios, right? It's like dialing in the tones so that everything fits like a puzzle piece together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I learned was like, you know, you could, if you want like a saw pad, like a saw synth pad or something like that, and you want that tonality, but it doesn't fit, you got to go beyond just the saw itself.
This is true.
And that was a big learning experience for me in a really fun and cool way, especially because the other work that I do really helps that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so those are some things that were the biggest hurdles, but also the most rewarding outcomes.
Right. Well, yeah, because you had to crack the nut. You
That's
had
right.
to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did it all by myself in these like long sessions of just like twisting knobs, but it's just like it's so worth it at the end of it.
It really, truly is. Holy heck, you guys! How many things did you put in here? I'm closing the queue.
Wow, that's a lot of submissions.
Liv is like trying to cram something in there right this second. I'm gonna start typing, Liv. I'm starting to type.
That's funny.
Liv, you can go ahead and post, and then I'm going to close the queue. I'm going to also play this track from Lux Dynamic really quick so they can boogie out the door because they're going to go graduate. What are you graduating from?
Wow.
What are you graduating from? Let's see here. Oh, it's your cousin's graduation. Okay, so you're showing up for family. This is very important. Where are you? Where are you? You are here. Holy heck, you guys. You filled up the queue. Wait, where did you go? Oh, this is it right here. Okay. Ducky boy with a green hat. You're the duck. All right, here we go. And congratulations to your cousin, by the way.
Duck.
Way to make it happen. Let's listen to this. This is 2 months in, by the way. This is someone that's new to producing, and they've got a really killer hat. They also happen to be a duck.
I'm trying to make dough out here, travel the world to save souls out here, yo. Everybody wanna roll out here, but no way will a man rolling fit. I'm trying to make dough out here, travel the world to save souls out here. Everybody wanna roll out here, but no way will a man rolling fit. I'm trying to make dough out here, travel the world to save souls out here. Everybody wanna roll out here, but no way will a man rolling fit.
Oh man. Okay, so there's really only a couple of things here. One, yeah, Roku's got this. Like, you can't really type a lot of this stuff. 2.5 months, very good decisions being made here. Yeah, there's some really cool, like organically just different kind of stuff happening here. Mechanically, like decision making wise, it's fresh. I like it. A little bit more definition down low would be great, which means that you're going to have to probably wrangle some frequencies. If you were to open up an EQ and just take a look at the frequencies present on each one of the tracks in your mix, it's going to quickly become apparent which one of them is the lowest and which one has the most activity down there. If that is indeed your sub channel, like the one with the lowest frequencies that should be the lowest, then you're going to kind of protect those. Maybe set the cutoff on that one at around like 40 hertz or so, okay? Because you do want a little bit of rumble and like hit in the chest here, but probably not lower than that, okay? Everything else needs to be cut higher than that. So if you have too many low-end elements competing for the same space with the same frequencies at the same time, you don't hear as much of any of them. So that would be the very first thing. The second thing to attend to is while you're going through and making updates to this track based upon anyone else's feedback, tread lightly. Like don't move too far away from this grimy, awesome soup that you've cooked up, because it's awesome and it's different and you want to kind of protect that. So that's what I got to say about this. And 2.5 months in, I'm not sure which element to pick right now, because some of the things that you've got on display that you're making, that I like the way that you're thinking about those things, are usually things that I put out there for folks that are first starting out. So I think one of the things that might help you is to listen to these sounds on their own and then listen to them again in full mix context each time you make a small change, and step away from this thing for a bit. Right, you're going to go in, you're going to make some edits, you're probably going to end up spending a couple hours with it because it's awesome. Step away from it for a day, maybe 2, and then come back to it. Especially when you're like young in all of this, you're going to hear stuff differently, but you're also going to remember it differently. So getting a little bit of space and time away from a track that's really good like this, and then coming back to it, is probably some good advice to follow at this point in your trajectory. Danny, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love how grimy it was. All the sounds really cool. If I actually, if I may, I love that drum loop. I think I know where it's from. It might be from an Imagine It Element Series pack. Yeah, that was a cool little thing that I noticed. So right on. Thanks for supporting. I'm glad you like the sounds. I'm glad they're serving you. Yeah, I think just taming those low end frequencies will be really beneficial. If I guess I was reading right here, I also have hearing loss at low frequencies, so I struggle mixing lower range sounds. Right. So one thing that might help you is a sub pack, those things that you wear, you can feel the low frequencies. That might be helpful. I don't know if you're working on, like, I don't know what kind of system you're working on, like if you're working on just headphones. You'll want to monitor your low end. And the best way to do that is with SPAN, which is a spectral analyzer. God, I can't remember the company right now, but it's one of the best ones. And you can see if your low end, especially from the ranges of, let's say, like 70 hertz to like 250 is like way too much. You know, you'll be able to see that. But more importantly, you'll be able to start to pick that up and feel it and hear it the more that you produce and the more that you do this. So I don't know how long you've been doing this for, but keep an eye on that. Watch a spectrum analyzer and hear that and feel that as you're producing, and you'll have a better idea of what you're working with the more that you do this. So yeah, I think just taming those low frequencies really.
Awesome.
Yeah, Vision is awesome, but Span is free. That's right. Vision is amazing. I love that plugin, but yeah, Span is free and it's great.
That's
so
right.
I highly recommend that.
Free is nice.
Yeah.
Free is always nice. Okay, this next track is coming to us from MSP. It's called Lemonade Stand. It's a great image for something called Lemonade Stand for some reason. It just works. I'm a fan, so this is great right now. MSP. MSP. That was amazing. That was incredible. That was like a bonus recess. It's like a field trip on a day when you expect a pop quiz. You know? Like I expect one thing and I press the button, I get something completely different. All of a sudden it's just playtime. So thank you. That was so much fun. My feedback on this one is that it's great and I don't want you to change anything. I think that this thing is its own special kind of magic. And I like it that way. Trim Ties is here. Welcome in. That was sick. Was sick. Danny, what do you think?
Don't change a thing.
There you go. Sometimes you bring something by and we hit play and we're just like, hey, that one's ready. I like that
Yep.
one. Yeah, I like that one.
Chef's kiss.
Mm.
Mwah.
And a chef's slurp.
Chef's
Trem just needs to vacuum the living room and then he's ready for old folks to come and celebrate him tomorrow. Trem Ties, is it for your birthday?
Hmm.
Okay,
Wouldn't say
so
that it
everyone
is.
likes this track. I'm just going back up through this chat and everyone is just like is so into this track. This is so good. This is so good.
That was great.
Cake. Happy birthday, Trem Ties. You're incredible. You're wonderful, and we love you. I do remember you saying that, but we get to say happy birthday to you out loud and make other people realize that it is your birthday season right now. Scruffy Rico is up next. Says, okay, I promised I would stop creating and finish stuff. Well, sue me. Here's something new I'm playing with. Only a couple of hours so far, but I think I'd get a feel for what people like. Needs a lot of work. Placeholder sounds for percussion currently and for mix. You guys have dropped a lot of stuff into this queue. There's no way in the world. Are we going to get through all of this stuff? What in the world? Checking my calendar. Rich, I really like this palette. Rich, this is a really good palette. I like it. Maybe a long form filter modulation to intro that ARP in the very beginning. I really like what you're doing. I really like what you're doing here. More blast beats. You're right, and Tremia 27 is ancient. I have no idea what I'm gonna end up feeling like when I finally get to 27. Sheesh. Oh man. I mean it's placeholder percussion in there, so not gonna speak to that. A finished song. Finish this one. I think that's my feedback on this one. Let's just finish this one. Seriously though, like I would put more prominent modulation on the ARP and play with resonance while you're doing it. I think it'd be a really nice touch for this classic scenario. And I really, really like these pads. I would pick a couple and I would play with saturation with them personally. I would probably swell them in a couple of different spots. Maybe even randomly, definitely unsynced from one another, so they kind of coalesce in different ways that aren't quite predictable for the listener. But I think that just having just these, you know, they could be long and drawn out surges, or they could be somewhat dramatic surges, but some kind of a saturation swell is probably where I would go with this, just because it kind of opens up sounds in slightly unpredictable ways. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, it feels it feels a little fresh to kind of know the direction. So because of that, I feel pretty focused on like the sonic palette and the mix. Because I can only kind of go based on what's been given. Yeah, I think like the mix will eventually shape itself around whatever it is that you're going to do with this. I like the sonic palette for sure, but it certainly needs, in my opinion at least, like a main idea, some sort of theme. It definitely feels like you have the nice foundation laid, but it needs maybe a main element.
Well, top line action, a voice.
Yeah, a little.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, if you plan on just keeping it the way that it is, I'll tell you for sure that this would be great for sync, you know, or like licensing.
Mhm.
So it's, you know, good good and open, I guess, in the mix for a scene or something like that. So
Yeah, I'd say in general, 98 to 100% of Rich's stuff has a great deal of commercial value to it, sync value to it.
yeah.
And I think honestly, like it's you're a soundtrack waiting to happen, Rich. That's what I got to say about that. Eventually, you're going to put one of these things out when it's all finished, and someone's going to say, "I want more of that," and then they're going to say something like, "Score my film."
Yeah.
And then you'll probably say something like, "Roku help." See Looney. Let's do this. This is great art, by the way. Is this your sketching? Because I'm kind of fascinated by this right now.
See Looney on the track.
And Lab.
Cross production.
Sometimes I just feel like crying. I feel like I'm dying. Sometimes I just feel like crying. 'Cause I feel like I'm dying.
I feel I'm all alone, stuck up in the zone, far away from home, walking in the rain, soaking wet. I can feel the weight of the pain as it drains my energy. I can feel it roll all the way from my head to my feet. I'm walking around and around and around again. Every time I think it's going up, like a roller coaster, it's coming back down. Just hope I don't hit the ground. Will I make a sound? Feeling your body standing around, gonna help me up.
Or you just gonna stand there and watch me drown? Trying to keep my feet on the ground. Gotta keep my poker face. Make it to the end of the day. Everybody wanna see your face.
Yeah. Okay. See, Looney, I've got some stuff for you. Um, Vocals have some resonance in the highest frequencies. And it sounds to me like the vocals are being captured on a mic that might not be the best mic. So you might have to spend a little bit more time with an EQ to kind of get it in line um, with expectations, right? Really good emotion. So I think that what you do is you keep your arrangement the way it is and you focus all of your energy on the mix at this point because your song is good. What you need now is to get the sound in line with the quality of your songwriting, right? So vocals need to be a little bit more on top of the mix, but there's also the issue of pitch drift. If you pitch correct some of the vocal delivery, then you won't have some of those moments that feel like they're clashing. And right now, they feel like they're clashing because the supporting instruments in the greater mix are all hitting true notes. If these were all washed out and detuned down tempo instruments, you could probably have quite a bit of pitch drift in your vocals, and it wouldn't be feeling like it's clashing quite the same. It would more translate as raw or something. But this, you're actually hearing true notes, and then you're drifting away from that, and we end up hearing that as clashing. So I would probably spend some time pitch correcting some of that stuff. And then just in general, because it sounds like this is a fairly new process, I would focus majority of your energy right now, once you get stuff laid out in your arrangement window, on EQ, signal flow, and volume balance. Okay, making sure that EQ, that you're only allowing through the frequencies that you need to in a sound. Signal flow, that sometimes you might need to route something to an auxiliary channel to do the processing on that auxiliary channel, and then it gets mixed back in. And then balance. I think that there can be greater balance of vocals in these different spots. And that'll set you up for a better outcome, I think. Danny, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think the vocals in the beginning, they're really harsh in the high end, which kind of takes you out of that headspace of like the song, first of all, which it can be kind of difficult, but once you sort that out, I think it'll be a little bit of an easier transition to the rest of the song. And it could just be like maybe the mic that you're using. I'm not sure what mic you're using, if you're on like a phone or if you're using like anything other than like a recording mic, perhaps. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you can certainly get a better recording using a legit mic. There's plenty of mics out there that are not very expensive, a couple $100. You get a pretty solid AKG mic or condenser mic for, I don't know, not that much, a couple $100, I would say. So yeah, I would say like change the mic that you're using to get a better recording. And same thing with the auto tuning, perhaps. If you have any extreme auto tuning or like moments of pitch drift that doesn't work very well, I would sort those things out. And it seems like everything's really cluttered as well, so you'll want to do EQing and maybe a little bit of compression on the vocals, but first and foremost, start with EQing for sure.
Absolutely. I would say just briefly, see, Looney, that wherever you are in the world, there's probably other folks around you that are selling or swapping gear, and to run some local searches and see if you can find some gear on the cheap, right? Affordable is great, and when you're first getting started, pretty much everything is an upgrade from where you're coming from. So there's that. But the other thing that it's going to give you is a real world connection with like-minded folks that might actually have some decent input for you, or could even be some kind of collaborator or something like that. But definitely check the used, like buy and swap and trade stuff first. All right, let's do this. Next is Rokusai, who's just dropped a 28-minute piece here. It's ambient. It's a really short one by his standards. We'll needle drop in a couple of spots. A Hymn for Venus. Like I said, we're going to needle drop in a few different spots here. I know, Roku's just slacking today. This thing isn't even giving us a waveform. Oh, there it is. Here's our crescendo. Oh, that's lovely. Roku, is this what you're listening to when you're doing your racing? Yeah, this is not a song, it is a journey. It's more of a lifestyle. I'm gonna hit this peak over here. What would happen if you locked Roku and I in a room for like 3 days and walked away? All right, we're gonna jump into the middle of the pool here. This is for the documentary, Roku? Drum ties, I'm pretty sure it's just a snare drum. I'm gonna hit this other peak over here. Man, that's freaking lovely. It's hard to click away from. Some good soup, homie. Bought by Tom. That's exactly what it's for. All right, we all want it. Let's listen to this crescendo over here. There's percussion. We missed when the percussion came in. Damn it, Chris. Here it comes. Quick check-in. What are the LUFS registering in this moment at the peak of that crescendo there, Roku? Yeah, this is really, really good, Roku. It basically just means that Rich needs to give up now. He needs to quit trying to make music. That was so good. Sorry, Rich, but Roku's great. There's just no point in even trying any further. Samsung, also known as Samsung Orange Ringtone, also known as the Funk Master here. We're going to listen to something great. Get Danny's face back in here. Oh. This one is long enough, and it's done. So yay. Confetti and horns. And I don't know if the trumpets hit Roku in the face the right way, but this was absolutely incredible. And it was long enough. And it's done. So there's that. So now you can make more. Danny, what did you think of this one?
That was so fun. My favorite part was the intro, like with the snare rolls and
Oh, yeah.
all the syncopation, man.
Right?
I love syncopation. I mean, who doesn't, right? But like here, it was really fun. Yeah, everything's nice and in the pocket, so that was fun.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of listening to Samsung each week is realizing that it's all in the box. It's just one of
That's
my
so
favorite
crazy.
things, right? It's just and Samsung, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the EQ work a little tighter right now? Roku says my favorite part was yes.
It felt really cohesive, like really tied in.
In Dremia, whose art is this? This is awesome. It kind of reminds me of like a linograph print or something. Like y'all familiar with like lino cutting? We cut into linoleum in different layers and put the ink on and you press it. My art. This is great stuff. Samsung, it's translating in the mix. I can hear a difference. Take this track that you brought today, go back in time 6 months on your computer. Just go back and grab a random track from 6 months ago and listen to the two. Nice, Trem. All right, this one is from Andromia. It's called Dune. What was the source sound for this one, Andromia? For those of you who do not know, Andromia normally goes about making music by taking one sound that interests him and chopping that thing down to a little bit in a sampler, making an instrument out of that, and then making all the rest of the instruments out of the same sound. Good stuff. little pitch dive. Wow. It's this undercurrent of these bass movements. Indremia. Man, when is that YouTube radio station gonna get up? Man. I mean, I could say a lot of things about this, but this is really, really good. I think that the higher synth, the kind of string quality synth that's in there, it could use maybe a little bit of filtering because the high end of it gets a little harsh at times. And I also feel like just in general, um, you could even play with a little bit of washing that sound out and then having it come back to being well defined and kind of blur some lines with it, maybe just a little bit. It's a great timbre and it sits atop everything so easily, which means you can play with it in a number of ways. But as it is right now, like this is really good, man. I want to listen to the entire soundtrack. Yeah, X3, absolutely. And you've grabbed Roku with this one too, it looks like. Yeah, Mr. Robot would be a good fit. I love it, dude. This is a really solid one. Danny, what do you think?
Man, I love that so much. And man, that was awesome. Uh, yeah, I was totally lost in it towards the end. There was that slightly filtered lead sound that came in towards the middle, I think, and stuck around. And about towards the end of the song, before that buzzy pulse synth came in again. And when that kicked in, that really, really set the tone for me.
Mm.
Yeah, I was really entranced by that, man. That was amazing. I don't know what you tend to do with it, but yeah, definitely finished that one, and yeah, I felt a lot from that one. That was probably my favorite thing that I've heard so far today.
And Jeremy, it'd be great to see you go through a bunch of your tracks and make a curated selection of them that you feel kind of ranks with the likes of this track that you brought today. And then I think that we should listen to them and figure out what, if anything, needs to happen to them to kind of push them across that final finish line. And you should get some stuff out for licensing when the Maker AI site comes online. You should have some stuff ready that people can use in their projects. It's good stuff.
I mean this in like the highest compliment, in like the highest form of compliment. That has such a strong, like massive attack quality to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not in a way that's like, like I can hear any sort of obvious influence. I mean in like the sonic quality of it. Like it feels done.
Mhm.
Like in that sound space.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, quick reminder for those that aren't familiar with Indremia and Indremia's work, it's a process and it's really unique. And we actually hear the music differently than Indremia hears it. And we get to appreciate it in a different, like from a different perception, from a different perspective. And yeah, we literally hear parts of this music differently, and I think that that is part of the magic of what he's cooking over there. We got one from Polly. It's been a minute. This one's
Hey,
called All
Pauly.
Around. Polly's here,
I couldn't
and
help myself.
He gets it all the time, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
This one was just cooked up yesterday, so it's fresh and loosey goosey. Let's see what we think about this one. This one's called All Around You.
You're trying to break a mold. Wasn't meant to be broken, so you can feel something. Well, where do you learn to roll? To roll. I thought you did this before. Just put your jacket on. Not the boost one, the black hoodie in the bathroom. And don't bring nothing else with ya. We're in the north, but soon we'll be in New York. I bet you never thought that you'd be here in this position, putting on for a man who has other women whenever I need him. You know, you get comfort in knowing you need it for something. No an excuse to do what you know you shouldn't. Just here to show the straight. Girl, don't you know? You got angels all around you, angels all around you. Like how do you know? You know, I see different when I'm around you. You got a light that shines that glow when I'm around you. You got angels all around you, angels all around you. You do. Your soul, you're a real phoenix, huh? You're a real phoenix, huh? Oh, you don't even know. Oh, you gotta be ready to feel you every second it burns. If you wanna be reborn, you got to admit that you've been wrong about it all. So why you even smoke? Why you even smoke? What's got you running so fast? What's got you running so fast? You know I never wanted to be here in this position. Life on the line all the time. Just to scrape by, heartbreak around me. Putting everyone that I love in a bad position. Wish I had someone to smother me. Out of doing things that I know I shouldn't. Girl, don't you know? Angels all around you, angels all around you. Like how do you know? You know, I see different when I'm around you. You got a light that shines that glows when I'm around you. Angels all around you, angels all around you. You do.
Polly, this is good. You definitely feel the freshness of it. The bass line, super satisfying. The backing vocal, their position is good. I think a little less low end on the left, the lower backing vocal. There's some timing stuff around the vocal delivery and some pitch drift. Good presence though in each one of those channels. And this organ, man, and the intro vibe that you had cooked up too. There's like, yeah, there's something kind of like hauntingly beautiful about that organ, but the atmosphere that you built up in the intro is really cool. It's good to hear you working on some stuff. Danny, what do you think? Oh, and Tremtai says, sing with your chest. A little more power in there. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. Sing with your chest for sure. It sounds a little restrained, like you're holding yourself back a little bit, and when you're singing from or when you're singing from like down low, you're gonna get a little bit more power, and you're also gonna be able to get more more consistency with your vocals as if opposed to singing from like your throats or your throat, excuse me, jeez. Unless you have multiple throats, right?
Maybe he
But
does.
yeah, you got some cool anatomy there. But yeah, you're gonna get more consistency from singing down below, and that'll be a lot more helpful. Um, and that'll help the tone and the tuning as well. I really believe that tone and tuning are hand in hand, where you could have the right tuning, but the tone might be off, and you might have the right tone, but the tuning might sound kind of funky. Especially in whatever environment you're singing in, like in terms of the record itself or the song itself. But I'd say more than anything, put a little bit more into those vocals. I would even say maybe some layers at certain points too would be cool, some harmonies.
Mhm.
And then when it comes to the mixing, you'll want to tie it all up.
Trem said it felt like going to church listening to that, and I always feel like listening to Polly is like attending church service of some sort. Something about your quality, man. There's just something. I think it's probably just all the genuine, um, raw nature of it all. Who is this next in the queue? Names are getting chopped off a little.
There's a great vocal in there that wants to come out. I can hear that.
Word.
Yeah.
Oh, I jumped down a bit. All right, this one is X. Get your face back up here. There we go. All right, this one is from X3. It's you. And was I supposed to read yours or was I supposed to read? Oh, yours doesn't have a thing. Oh, someone else. All right, this one's Live Knuckles reaction. Men in Cable 4. Read yours, please. I click through here. I'm going to bring this over to browser. It's got better sound. All right, so this ain't mixed at all. 1,000,000 decibels of pure Texas energy. The second coming of Tonight. How to Feel Pain. I like it. This is all covert sound warning. This shit ain't mixed at all. If it's really that loud, I'm going to take it down just a couple notches so I don't lose my hearing. Here we go. Hey, this is one of mine, huh? Where did that come from? That was weird that even happened. That was one of mine, I think. Here we go. This is a really interesting, wonky kind of mix. It's got some really cool modulation stuff happening. It's also got some stuff happening in the mix that I wish I could hear just a little bit or with a little bit more clarity. Like some of the stuff feels obfuscated unintentionally, and some of it feels filtered or restrained intentionally. Um, so I feel like there's probably some mix work that needs to be done here. And 9 out of 10 times when it comes to that kind of ambiguous gray area where stuff kind of comes to rest like this, it has to do with the low end frequencies in different tracks in your mix. And um, when there is this kind of competition in those lower frequencies, things become obfuscated. It's hard to move around stuff. So it's like talking through a sheet, right? You can hear what's being said, but you're losing a little bit of the definition and nuances in the pronunciation and delivery. And I think we're kind of hearing some of that here. A couple of things that you can do. One, remove some more low frequencies from tracks where it's just simply not necessary. And that's going to give you a lot more energy to work with elsewhere. Another thing is that, well, dealing with sounds that are kind of more nondescript, they're less tonal, they're more atonal or noise based. Um, Adding a little bit of shine to the mix in some way tonal is a really nice way to kind of control where the attention is being driven in those moments. So resonance is a really good way to draw attention. Like a comb filter might be really nice in a track like this, right? Because you get this kind of like metallic, ringy, shiny, but also kind of squelchy kind of effect from it. And that would probably go well with this kind of um, murkiness that you've got going down low. And then just a little bit more play with a couple of things. You've got a lot of really cool sounds in this palette, and you've got them out, which means they've been delivered, but it seems like the majority of them are being delivered the same way each time. So I would just say have a little bit of play. This song, this style is all about play and look what I can do. And here's another idea. Oh, and another. Picking like one pluck out of all of those plucks, or maybe two, and letting them ring out in some way might be kind of cool, right? Um, Picking and choosing tiny little moments and small embellishments um, not only helps keeps the interest and focus and all of that kind of stuff going in the track, but it will also start to spark more ideas and force you to really focus in on one moment to the next and listen and be a bit more critical about it. Because when you put a new sound in there and it doesn't pop off the way that you were expecting it to, it's probably because something's going on with the mix and now you need to address that. You see what I'm saying? So part of this is just getting a couple of things into the mix in a couple of key spots. And then just kind of trusting your gut from there. A concept for your 120 comment, I'll mess around with the release, but it's actually just a granulated sample, not a pluck. Yeah, so with something like that, you can still get away with putting like a short form delay on there and cranking up the feedback for it, right? Now all of a sudden you've got something that rings out and you can kind of play with it or something. But yeah, there's so many different ways you could do this, right? You could put some saturation on there and crank up the gain, start getting some feedback kind of stuff going. But anyway, just allowing yourself to play a bit freely. I love the concept. I would trust the concept if I were you, and focus the large majority of your effort not on changing where anything is in the mix, just how it's coming across. A lot of time with your EQ and volume automation are probably going to be the biggest areas of easy change for you here. Danny, you got anything on this one, man?
Yeah. I know they were looking for more feedback on the concept, and I really like that it's unhinged for sure. I think there's a way to bring things in a little bit more, round things up a little bit more. Maybe with some like little effects and things like that here and there. But other than that, it's really interesting concept, really weird. And yeah, I just turn it down. At times it seems like really, yeah. I mean, a million dB of pure Texas energy. I certainly heard that when it came in. You know, yeah, just turn it down a little bit. Perhaps that might serve. But I know this is the style of the music too, is to be completely blown out. So I understand that. But I think there's a way to do it where you can still get that power and not be like, blowing ears to
Word.
oblivion.
Word.
I got a boogie here in a sec, actually.
It's all good, dude.
Yeah,
I know we're running
know so
over.
much. Yeah.
Congrats again on Apollo getting out there into the world.
Thank you, man.
And thank you for spending time
Appreciate
with
that.
us.
Yeah, it was fun. There's a lot of cool tunes today.
Typical Friday, right?
Interesting stuff. Yeah, not your usual stuff too, which is cool. So,
Right? Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, homie. Whenever you have to dip out, you dip out, and we will absolutely get you back in soon. And
Sounds good.
please feel free to spam some links, and everybody click on the links that Danny's dropping in the chat and check out his track. Share it with your friends if you like it, because we like to lift each other up here. And he'll be back for more. Make sure you give him a follow. I was
Yes,
built
thank
to
you.
click things, says Jon Snow.
Follow with
Chakra
that
D&B. Chakra, what have you made? I'm always quite pleased what Chakra brings around. Really good stuff. Let's do this. Hey. Paulie, you are so welcome. I am so glad that you show up here. You inspire people, homie. And you are welcome for the space to grow with each other. Dude, Chakra, I love all of your stuff. I really like this one. Um, there's not a lot that I would change about this one. I think that there's some really nice moments in it, honestly. Tasty Reese's. You get to some interesting little tension moments where the tuning goes just slightly off the rails and snaps back, and everything is beautiful again. I love the tasty transitions. I do wonder if there should be a supporting transition effect at 146. But I love the long buildup coming out of that break, and having that little ding there at the point of transition. It's nice. Yeah, I just appreciate you and appreciate this. This is good. This is good stuff. It's lovely. Yeah, there he is. Gentleman and a scholar. It's true. Mike Tython. Whoa, look at this profile pic, y'all. Look at this. Check this out. It's a great name, by the way. All right, slowed and reverbed vibes. This is great art too. What's going on here? Brought by Tom, right? Oh, that was refreshing. Anybody else feel like they just had a little break? You and Kwame would be good friends. You know what? Oh, maybe Kwame wants to have a spin on it too. We are a collaboration friendly zone here. It's a safe place for people to hook up. I mean, for their beats and whatnot. See, this is great. For like a handful of different reasons, this is great. And I don't really want to give a bunch of feedback on this that's going to result in like knobs being touched or anything, because I would actually just like the large majority of stuff that I want to have happen are like the finishing mastering touches. Just, I mean, not to volunteer Roku, but I feel like, man, Roku would know what to do with this thing. Well, Tom, this is it's really tasty, it's original, it's fresh, it's really uplifting and vibey, and it's inspiring. It's just a mighty fine soup. And if you do want to step into some more collabs, then give a shout out on um, the Discord and let people know that, because there are people here that would probably love to make good soup with you. Hell yeah. Um, yeah, I got lots of things to say and think about this. So keep bringing stuff by and submitting so I can say more things. What I got for you right now. Keep making this shit. That's what I'm saying. Samir. Let's see what you've made today. Piano Pain. Produced by Stone So Wavy.
Be patient.
Stone So Wavy.
Hey, I said I'm about to have the saddest Christmas of my life. Consistently, I've been in pain this year, ain't nothing nice. With people moving out and getting fired from my jobs, letting go the only thing I did this year, and something's wrong. I said I really need to fix my shit for me and for my mom, cause if I had to kill myself, she'd lost her brother and her son. My friend was on some perks and I ignored him for that stuff. For that I am ungrateful and I hope he'll live it up. Moving on without me cause I'm focused on the last. Picture perfect moments we directed with the cast. Super duper friends with that lovey-dovey past. Broken hearted people making future friends laugh. And I was pain inside my blood, I couldn't tell you what had happened. I still got my uncle jacket, I remember it was passive. At his funeral when passing, now I'm laughing at his eyes just to avoid the disappointment. Rubbing tears into my eyes at his funeral like ointment. Breaking my own heart with this music I be choosing. She said she ain't speaking on no fucking, but I'm fluent. She said she be on some other shit that I ain't doing. I say for the love of everyone I'm gonna do it. I say I could never own a gun cause I could use it. I'ma die with Lil Peep playing on his music. I'ma die with X, Trippy Red and Lil Uzi. Big smoke, I smoke until my lung pop. My last words punctuated with a gunshot. My mom personal condition, blood thinning, she got blood clots. Hey, yeah, fuck. And I'm dedicated, why am I not heaven sent? And I'm medicated, otherwise I'm hesitant. And I penetrated all my thoughts, stalking my decisions. Tripping like my batteries is missing. Have to shine before I glisten. Really I had spoken truth if you would care to listen. Really I had everything that both of us was missing. Stupidly I mirrored you and even your decisions. Happily I'm over you, but I'm still here to listen. You should know I killed myself if I ever go missing. And I do apologize for sending anger your direction. I remember when you cried about your ex and said you miss him. Sick fuck beat you and you still would probably kiss him. Before we even dated I was jealous over kisses. After we had dated you told me I need some bitches. Currently I'm pondering my every life decision. If I die before this song is out I'd never finish spinning. I've been trying not to kill myself, so sorry for the distance. I didn't wait too smoothly, so I'm sorry if you miss it. I've been hating changes, strangling my persona, so I'm sorry if you miss him. I can't even bear to listen. I hate what I was pretending.
Samir, this is really, really good. Please keep making more. It's just really good emotion. It's real. It's genuine. And it really, really comes through. It really translates. A big level up is coming with a microphone. Like that's really the biggest thing here. Is like if you could meet someone or borrow something. Like if you could step into a vocal recording booth at some point and capture this stuff in a really clean environment, I could see this going places. I would also just really highly encourage you to do, if your nerves would allow for it, to do some like spoken word or slam poetry events. There's open mic stuff that happens constantly all over the place. I don't know where you're from or if that's actually like a reasonable expectation. But everything starts to happen when you step out like that. And this kind of stuff, man, people will embrace this. You straight up get a standing ovation here in Portland if you were to step up to the mic with this. But really, it's just about kind of projecting this now at this point. Yeah. Let's see what people are saying here. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. And Trem has a really good point too, just the impassioned delivery. But I think that that's part of what you start to tap into when you step out on the ledge, so to speak, and do this like in front of a group. Those emotions start to kind of take over you in some pretty interesting ways, and you kind of learn how you're meant to deliver it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's saying the same thing. This is really good stuff. We want to be able to hear it better. Really good stuff. Keep coming back with more. Coming back with more. Mr. Lush. Lush. Oh, you guys. We are not going to make it through. We are not going to make it through all of these. Because I have a session with someone here in a little bit. Gotta do a little mix master action. Yeah, this is an everyday sort of thing. And Jon Snow, it's not uncommon for us to have to run over by a fair bit just to get to tracks. It's also not uncommon for us not to get to all of the tracks because it's a very popular stream. People come in with a lot of really good stuff, and we take the time that we take with the people that we get to, and we encourage everyone to drop their links as early as possible. And we don't always have a special guest that comes on and yammers endlessly. I'm just kidding. I love Danny. Mr. Lush saying, not really happy with the vocals and the mix, but I wanted to share something. This one's called Alone, and this artwork is dope.
I'm on fire, never learn. See desire, watch me burn. Rust in pieces, all rusted home. I'm sitting here, all alone. Home is where the heart is, it gets up home. Home is where the heart is, it gets up. Home is where the heart is, it gets up home. Home is where the heart is, it gets up.
Mr. Lush, Formanty goodness throughout. The vocals are a fantastic fit. Wasn't expecting them, and then when they came in, it was like a natural. It was like, yeah, this feels right. 126, snare can come down a few. It doesn't have to be before that, but when the vocals are there, you got to give the space for the vocals to remain dominant, that priority. So snare down just a couple in relation to the kick in general, but then bring them both down just a couple more when that vocal's present. Bass down a bit as well when the vocal's present. Bring them back up when it's just the instrumental. Stank face moment kind of throughout. There were several of them. At 252, I heard a weird little odd kick moment, like the timing got disrupted. I'm not sure if there was a small skip or if there's just a glitch in the streaming matrix or what, but there you go. Tremties, how does this one sound on the TV? I'm just saying, Far Horizon, I'm just saying that it'll take you longer to get places if you stay on the road because there's there's traffic lights and there's other cars and stuff. But man, the sidewalks, those are usually pretty open. Yeah. And there's people, but whatever, they'll move. Roku says, I'd love a little more variety on that respace, different modulation settings per phrase or section. Can feel that. Feel that. Feel that. Siren. Whoa. Whoa. Get this image here. This one's called Sorrow. Yo, okay, there are certain things that although you may produce other things that are a bit more electronic in nature, not everything needs to be mixed with the same kind of mindset or approach. And this is one of those. I would back off the limiting on this one. And I think that this is one of those like legit lean in um tracks, right? Like it unfolds at a very comfortable pace. It leads you to believe that there is so much more on the horizon from one second to the next. Um, and then it resolves. And I feel like that in and of itself is its own special kind of tension. And when you begin to push that tension against its like beyond its natural boundaries, you start to feel um and hear parts of the sound that detract, that are actually working against you in what you're trying to accomplish in the first place, because you're starting to pay attention these tiny little nuanced details that probably shouldn't have been as surface level as they were in the first place, right? So you're kind of ending up putting people's attention on the wrong little bits and pieces. Also, it's just nice to be able to turn this kind of stuff up really loud as the listener. It's really good. Geezer, you're up. We're going to have to wrap up soon. This one's called Leak Out. Look at this art. Look at this art. Siren, you are welcome. Yo, there's some stuff happening here from different clubs. Listen to this. All right, big, open, and pretty in the beginning. You don't need to push the lufs as hard in that intro, though. In fact, if you don't, when full mix drops at a minute, it's going to be way more impactful emotionally, right? Technically more impressive, it feels, right? And just the convergence of these different styles and the way that you're putting them together here, the way that you're presenting it all is really great. It's tight, it's solid, like you understand exactly what you're trying to do. And yeah, it translates. It translates. Like, you know, for those who have produced across the genres, you can hear the little bits and you're like, ah, I know what that's from. Right? That vocal sample that you've got in there would be absolutely perfect for funk, right? Filter that stuff down, push it back in the mix, and somehow it's making this all work right here. It's impressive. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. This is why people need to keep making music. This is not going to come out of any AI generator anytime soon. Siri. Speaking of AI, we've got Siri here. Geezer, this was really fun, and I really want you to come back with more of this kind of stuff. I'm not sure if this is brand new and you have more to share yet or not, but I would highly encourage you to keep going. Keep going in this direction and push the envelope. We will help you tear it to pieces and make it better. Hey, Google, please make me a banger. All right, this one's called Kisses. It's from Siri. All right, here's what I got for you, Siri. Maybe a subtle suck back at 28 seconds before that last note prior to the transition. Really great use of energy and pace and change over time. 111, great use of timing. Would love to feel a little bit more play with space there in that moment. It felt just a little, and I understand that it's the nature of the beast of the genre, but it did feel that moment like it could have been extended just a little bit somehow. 127, nice breakdown here. Perhaps a reversal of the ARP as it builds back into the full mix there. And I saw the Tremties said, give me some halftime. Ooh, and Jon Snow says halftime and swing the drums. Yeah. Some really good stuff in here. Some really good stuff. Definitely keep making more. And we've got a good mix of stuff today, you guys. All right, I think this is going to be the last one. I want you all to put on your thinking hats and let me know who we're going to go raid. For those who we have not gotten to today in the queue, please give them a listen, leave them a comment so they can continue to grow as well. And I would encourage all of you to drop links as early in the morning as you can on Fridays so you can be heard. Let's listen to what Far Horizon is cooking up this week. This one's called Grace. Yo. It was really good. It was really good. I really like the unpredictable nature of this, and I see that Roku's chiming in with some thoughts here. I will say that the ARPs, I feel like they have a little too much mid and lows, especially in the reverb presence, and it's affecting the clarity when the mix is full. He's calling for the syncopations to get really dialed in even more. This is really tasty. This is really good. Far Horizon. It was really, really tasty. I mean, everything you bring is good, but this one's got some freaking sauce on it, man. Who are we going to go raid? Let's go see who's up. Let's go see who's up. Sorry we didn't get to everything. We have a whole bunch of stuff in here. We're going to have to start expanding Fridays a bit, you guys, I think. Because we're like 45 minutes over and we still didn't get far enough. And we all want more. Am I right in saying that we all want more? Maybe I shouldn't speak for everyone here, but I feel like we all want more. Am I right? All right, let's see. Oh yeah, you could just clone me. Jon Snow. We've hooked another one, y'all. Jon Snow will be back. Appreciate you being here, homie. And to the rest of you as all, let's see who's up. Oh, well, that's easy. My buddy Aaron is up. Y'all, we're going to go see Raid 0. streaming out of San Francisco live right now. You show this guy some love. I'll be back on Monday. Show each other some love then. Maybe we'll pick up on some of these tracks we didn't get to today. I appreciate you. Stay inspired. Keep making some fire. We're going to do this all again soon. I'll see you on the flip. Peace out.